And welcome to another episode of Rankum. Got a interesting horror opening, and shout out to Matt for making that. But we've got a great bunch of people here. We've got John Mayer. John, how's it going?
It's going good, Malcolm. How's it going?
It's going good. We've also got Austin here. Austin, how's it going?
Happy spooky season, everybody. Glad to be here.
We've also got Kerry here. Kerry, how's it going?
Going great, thanks.
And last but not least, we've got Jonathan Caro. Jonathan, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Tis the spooky season. Happy spooky season. Just wearing my Jack-o'-lantern shirt. It'll be an interesting one, and can't wait to talk about these spooky, sometimes gnarly, sometimes bloody, sometimes nightmarish openings here.
With that, how Rankin works is we each go around and nominate a opening scene we think belongs on a top 12 list, and then everyone else will say yes or no to it, and if it gets the majority of yeses, it will make their short list. And then once we have a short list of 12, we rank them. So I'm going to go to John first. John, what is the first opening scene you're going to bring up?
This probably isn't my top opening scene, but I just wanted to make sure I was the one that said it. I'm going to nominate the original A Quiet Place because when Bo gets killed, he deserves
it. Wow.
You do know he's like 4, right?
But all right. He should know.
Damn.
But Austin, what do you say about the opening to the first Quiet Place?
This is interesting because I believe Malcolm made a rule of 1 per franchise, right? Is that what we're going for tonight?
Yeah.
So only 1 can make it per franchise. And I had a hard time debating whether if we brought up A Quiet Place, it would be the first or the second one because they both have excellent openings. The second one with the day one sort of thing. And then, this first one that kind of perfectly sets up at least the world and the tension around the world. So they both are effective in both their ways. One's more anarchy, one's just great world building. If we're gonna get one in there, that's fine. I'm fine with either one. So John brought it up. It's on my extended list. So this one, if somebody just brings up one for my extended list, I'm probably just gonna say yes. So I'll say yes.
Kerry, what do you say about the opening to A Quiet Place?
Yeah, not for the reason that John said, obviously, but this was definitely on my list. It is an incredible opening. It's devastating, but it does such a good job of showing you the world without telling you. And obviously it's very shocking. And it makes sure there are real stakes to this movie, they're willing to so it's a yes for me.
Yeah. But Jonathan, what do you say about the Quiet Place opening?
So I did my list a little differently compared to other lists from Rankum. I just list only 5 that should make it on here. And John started right off the bat with one of my 5. This is a great opening. It sets the tension, sets the eerie, nightmarish tone. It basically tells you nobody's safe, even a little child. And it's an exceptional opening, a sad opening, but it's fantastic. So it's 100% yes for me.
Yeah. Funny enough, I had the exact same conundrum as Austin did. But both A Quiet Place and Quiet Place Part 2 are both great openings. But it's one of those ones I'm gonna say yes to A Quiet Place because it's one of those ones I think it's more interesting just seeing the the opening of in the world of after the whole invasion started rather than seeing the beginning of the invasion. Well, they're both good openings in their own way. I think the Quiet Place is a little bit better, so I'm going to say yes to A Quiet Place. So A Quiet Place is going to make the list, and we go over to Austin.
All right, so 1 per franchise, so that makes it a little tricky when you're trying to decide which one to nominate and maybe get everybody on the same page as you. So I'm going to shoot my shot for one from the Friday the 13th series, and not one of my favorite movies in the series, but my favorite maybe open in the series. So let's go with Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. And if you remember the opening scene of this one, this is the opening scene where it opens very similarly to a lot of the Friday the 13th movies. You got a woman by herself in a cabin in the woods. She's doing a couple of things. The power goes out. She's got some candles on. She goes to take a shower. You get your nudity, and you think she's very vulnerable. Jason inevitably shows up, goes to kill her, is chasing her around. She falls off a balcony. It's kind of your typical opening. You think it's just another kill. Jason looks great, by the way. The Kane Hodder makeup is incredible with the, hockey mask kind of just built into his face at this point, so not only does it look great and it's shot great, she runs into the woods, she's doing the stumbling, you think it's going to be the kill, she's about to make the kill, and boom, floodlights come on, floodlight. Jason knows what's going on. An FBI raid ensues. They riddle him with bullets left and right, and then grenades come in and blow him to smithereens, leaving only a head, and you are left going, oh my god, we're at the opening of the movie and Jason is dead. What the hell is going on? Cut to credits. I think it's one of the most dynamic openings, again, for the twist it takes you on and the turns and where it leaves you. Again, we're not talking about the movies in general here or ranking Friday the 13th movies. We're just talking about opening scenes. And I think if we're going to have one for Friday the 13th, I'd like to shoot my shot for Jason Goes to Hell.
Kiri, what do you say about Jason Goes to Hell?
Yeah, this one, I didn't even think about it. It's not on my list, but I think this opening is incredible. I love this whole movie because I think it's just so much fun to watch. But I think then a lot of it's because it's so bad it's good. But this opening I think is just so solid and so unique. I remember the first time watching it, like sitting there like, wow, this is really bad. And then it like you see that it's all a trick to set Jason up, and it's like, oh, it's incredible that someone finally brought in the army, and I feel like it's kind of poking fun of itself, maybe not, I don't know, but yeah, I'll say yes to this one. I think it's the best opening in the franchise.
Jonathan, what do you say about Jason Goes to Hell?
I've only seen 3 Friday the 13th movies, so I'm not crazy about any of the 3 movies I've seen so far. Preferably, I think the remake is the best one I've seen. But and then for the record, I have not seen Jason Goes to Hell. I was trying to find it, couldn't find it, and but based on the description, it sounds gnarly and sounds twisted. But I'm gonna say no because I haven't seen it and just not crazy about Jason. But I'm okay with it if it makes the list.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in the same boat as Jonathan. Like, I've seen a handful of Friday the 13th movies. I'm pretty certain I haven't seen this one. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to say no as well. But John, what do you say about Friday the 13th? Jason Goes to Hell.
Everything Penn said is accurate. This is nowhere near the best Friday the 13th movie, but the opening alone is fantastic. It's like it's got just enough camp, and it's clearly a parody of Friday the 13th in a way, but then it kind of segues right into that like crazy action sequence. So I think good call, Pez. I'm going to support this. That's a good pick.
All right, there you
Yeah,
go.
and it's going to make the list, and we go over to Kiri next. Kiri, what is the first one you're going to bring up?
Okay, I'm going to bring up one of the other major franchises. I feel like this movie has to be on here, or at least should be discussed, and that's Halloween, the original Halloween, where you're following the point of view of Michael as he kills his sister, and you don't know who it is. Maybe you don't. You've been hiding under a rock your whole life. You don't know who it is. And he kills his sister, and finally it pans out and you see it's this little 6-year-old boy in a clown costume. I feel like we take it for granted, like how amazing this opening is, because the whole movie is incredible and it's such a classic. But I think this is just one of the best horror movie openings ever.
Jonathan, what do you say about the original Halloween?
Yeah, I think you stole Jonathan's pick, Carrie.
Yeah.
Based on his time.
Okay. Cool. That was gonna be my first one anyway. It's fine.
Right, exactly.
It's fine. But this was one of my 5. This is an excellent opening. John Carpenter's camera work, chef's kiss. I mean, his camera work, his craftsmanship in this 1978 film just makes it worthwhile, makes it creepier, and I mean, that last shot of that opening alone is just, it's magnificent, and it's just it's very scary as to, you see that a child did it. A child killed his sister. So yes, 100% yes on Halloween. It's a great opening, one of the best openings actually ever for me, regardless of the genre.
Yeah, this one was also on my list as well. It wasn't necessarily going to be the first one I picked, because I knew it was going to come up eventually anyway. But yeah, it's a great opening scene. It's a absolute yes for me. But John, what do you say about Halloween?
I think you can't say no to the opening of Halloween. It's absolutely iconic for all the reasons already mentioned. To the point, and the reveal is great. So it's a yes for me.
And Austin, what do you say about the opening of Halloween?
No, an absolutely beautiful opening. Yeah, not just for horror, but for movies in general. Yeah, especially if you're fresh on the series, you've never seen it. Yeah, the revelation that it's just this like little 6-year-old kid in a clown costume, and yeah, just how shocking it is. Yeah, the POV camera work is beautiful. Yeah, it's one of the great openings of all time. Yeah, not only should this make the list, but I think it should easily be like a top 5. Once we get to the actual rankings. So, yeah, no, big yes for Halloween.
That Halloween is going to make the list, and we go over to Jonathan.
Well, this is kind of a stupid question, but do you like scary movies? I guess all of them y'all do. So all y'all do. So I'm just gonna.
I only watched opening scenes for this thing. I'm not really big on scary movies. I like opening scenes, and I stop right after those. I just don't watch the rest of the movie.
Right? Yeah, I was like, oh, forget the rest of the movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm gonna nominate the original Scream. Yeah, I think that it's one of the top 5 for me of this list. It should be on the list. Besides the expertise from director Wes Craven, it's just a scary opening. It's just one of the scariest openings ever, because you kind of know where it's going based on the casting alone from Drew Barrymore, but then Craven just throws a left hook to you and just like, forget Drew Barrymore. She dies. So basically, it just the whole setup to the kill is fantastic, where the killer is playing her and us, the audience, and it just builds up and builds up to the death, and it's just actually also pretty sad as she calls up of her mother's name as she's about to die. So yeah, Scream, the original Scream. I think no other movie in the franchise tops this opening.
Yeah, I like the original Scream. I actually like a different opening in this franchise better. And so I'm actually going to say a slight no to Scream. But John, what do you say about the original Scream?
I know exactly what Malcolm is saying. I do think Scream 2's opening is better, but I can't say no to Scream. Scream is like it's different from the opening to Scream 2, totally. But just the way it's done, it actually is kind of like a play on like other movies that came before it. But just the way it totally encapsulates, it's like a miniature like horror short in and of itself.
Yeah.
The opening to Scream, plus it's iconic at this point. Though, yeah, I see your point, Malcolm. Scream 2 probably has more commentary to it, but I can't say no to Scream. I say yes to Scream.
Austin, what do you say about the opening to the first Scream?
I totally prefer this one to Scream 2. I think Jada Pinkett's annoying as shit in that Scream 2, and I'm glad when she dies. It's in a completely different way.
Thank you.
Like I don't see why we're even having this debate. No, the original one is the most shocking one because Drew Barrymore is front and center on the poster. So if you went to the movie to even go see her, yeah, it's a shock when she's dead within the first 10 minutes. Yeah, the little game she has to play, on the phone, also with with the boyfriend on the outside. The fact that we're referencing other horror movies, we're referencing Friday the 13th, we're referencing Halloween, all in this opening. And yeah, the actual shock of her getting taken off screen. I mean, it just leaves you wondering where the hell the movie's going to go next. So I think for the groundbreakingness of the time and the way it still kind of works, the way it's shot, everything, yeah, it's a definite yes.
Kiri, what do you say about the opening of the first Scream?
Yeah, this would have been my next pick. It's high up on my list. I love the opening to Scream 2, and I think 5 and 6 are great as well. But Yeah. This one though, for me, like nothing tops it. Yeah.
That Scream is going to make the list. And,
Yeah, 6 is an underrated opening. I like 6 this one.
funny enough, Scream was part of the reason I put in the one per franchise or anyway, because like I probably would have nominated all the.
Well, there's another opening that's pretty infamous, or another franchise that's infamous for its wacky, insane opening scenes and full of carnage that I'm sure we'll get to one, and that'll be more of a choice of which one do we pick. Yeah, we'll see. So,
I would say like 1, 6, and 2. I think those were the 3 that I was thinking. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like Scream 2 is actually my favorite out of the lot, partly because Jada Pinkett's annoying as shit and it's satisfying to see who die. But anyway,
cool opening. I'll grant you that though.
But anyway, it's on to me, and I'm going to go for something that's not that's actually not a franchise. To try and get something interesting, and I'm going to do the same strategy as Austin's. Like, I'm going to pick a movie that's kind of not that good, but it's got a kick-ass opening, and that's Ghost Ship. And the movie itself is like, admittedly, I enjoy it myself, but it is admittedly not overly interesting. But the opening, just seeing like the whole dissect like everyone on the ship and killing everyone, I think is just a really fun opening to and I think it's just great. So, John, what do you say about Ghost Ship?
I knew Ghost Ship was going to come up. The movie's not great, but that opening scene was great. Everything getting cut in half is freaking great. I wish the whole movie was like that. And since we're only ranking opening scenes, I have to say Ghost Ship has a great opening scene. So I'll say yes to it.
Austin, what do you say about Ghost Ship?
Yeah, again, it's my logic for Jason Goes to Hell. Like, I don't love the entirety of the movie, and I think it kind of peaks, with the opening, but it's the same case with Ghost Ship. I remember being in the theater in 2002 and seeing that opening and being like, holy shit, how insane is this movie going to get? And then the rest of the movie is like a really generic, boring teens walking around exploring this ghost ship, like incredibly forgettable movie. But like, yeah, is a classic example of an opening scene where that is the peak of the movie, but that's okay because we're only talking about opening scenes here. And yeah, that opening scene is something else and leaves you again with your jaw on the floor, with the little girl standing there, holding the hands of the guy that was dancing with her, and he falls apart. And yeah, it's insane. And yeah, this is a definition of what a horror movie should have. A great great start. Unfortunately, this doesn't finish well, but I'm going to give a yes to the opening scene of Ghost Ship. Big thumbs down to the rest of Ghost Ship, but the opening scene gets a big thumbs up.
Gary, what do you say about Ghost Ship?
Yeah, I have only seen the opening scene of this movie.
There you go.
It's so iconic, and it's fantastic. And hopefully having seen the opening scene is enough to say yes to it. Yeah, it's incredible.
And Jonathan, what do you say about the opening scene to Ghost Ship?
No, I was just watching it.
There you go.
I've never seen the opening before.
Well, that's the good thing about this one is if you haven't seen it, you can maybe quickly watch it while other people are talking, or you can give us a signal. We can stall for like 3 minutes and you can go watch it. Just
in time, though. Just in time. Okay. As an opening, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, granted, I've never seen the movie, and I'll take y'all's word for it that it's not very good, but the opening's really good, so why not? Yes.
John, I'm convinced the only reason Ghost Ship has a Scream Factory release and anybody talks about it is because of the opening scene and nothing else.
You are 100% right. I can't argue.
And nobody would give a shit, and it wouldn't have even got a Scream Factory wouldn't have cared except for that opening scene. Yeah. That's it.
It is a great opening. I like
it. But there we're going to go back to John. John, what is the next opening scene you're going to bring up?
I mean, there's definitely a lot of great opening scenes, but I do want to kind of mix in some that probably wouldn't normally be said, because I trust you guys to pick up the slack for me if I don't say other movies. But a movie that we talk about movies that set up a world and kind of just get right to the point. I'm going to throw out Cube as a good opening scene, where the guy gets julienned by going into the room and he makes a noise, and then the grate falls down and chops them into like cubes. Excellent visuals, excellent effects in that opening scene, and it kind of really establishes like what's going on in the movie.
Austin, what do you say about the opening scene to Cube?
It's a really good one. It's on my kind of extended list, John, if that makes any sense. Like one of those like honorable mention type things that if somebody brought it up, I probably wouldn't bring it up myself, but I might give it a yes. My only concern is that maybe the other panelists have probably not seen Cube. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, I have it on DVD. I've seen it. And yeah, it's got like, it's at like the red room. And like, yeah, he just gets complete. It's kind of similar to Ghost Ship, actually. It's like a bunch of wires.
But he gets cut in 3 dimensions.
Yeah,
he
gets obliterated. Yeah, he just gets absolutely obliterated. In the opening, but it's shot really cool with like the red room and like, yeah, you don't know what's going on. You're like, where the hell is this guy? Is he in some kind of booby trap dungeon? Is he, what the hell's going on? And it definitely leaves you wanting to know more about everything. It's interesting. It's kind of on the border, but since it's on that border where I said if somebody else will bring it up, I'll probably I'll give it a yes and see what happens. We'll see. I don't know if anybody else will, John. I'll forewarn you. We'll see. Leave it up to everybody else.
Kerry, what do you say about the opening scene to Cube?
Yeah, I didn't think about this one. I'm trying to think, like, because I have yeah, it is a really good opening, though. It does really suck you in. I don't know. We're like halfway there. I'll say yes. I think it's a really cool opening. I think it deserves to be on here.
Jonathan, what do you say about Cube?
I was going to say no, because I think it's a little too similar to Ghost Ship. That's the reason why. Cube is a cool opening, but I just think we just put two similar openings on the list, and I think it's just, in my opinion, it is a good movie. I do recommend the movie, but I think it just wasted a spot for another preferable movie opening that I was thinking about. But it's fine. But I do recommend the movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. Like, to me, it doesn't matter if there's openings that are similar in that. Like, it's still a cool opening, but and it's one of those ones like I don't care about the movie at all for Cube, but I do actually quite like the opening. I'm going to give a slight yes to Cube. But John blew it up, but Cube's going to make the list.
Cube makes the list. Yep.
Yeah.
Austin, what is the next one you're going to bring up?
Yeah, no, I'll bring up one that's a sequel that I think eclipses the original. The original has a good opening scene as well. But if you want to talk about sheer nail-biting terror, and another one where you could debate whether the opening is better than the rest of the movie. I like the rest of the movie as well. But 28 Weeks Later, I think, has a hell of an opening scene. And it is just something that takes it to the next level, even more so than the original movie did. Yeah, it's Robert Carlyle. He's at this barn. He kind of shows up. They're having this quiet dinner. And then one of the infected shows up. All hell breaks loose kind of inside the thing. You see him kind of abandon his wife and his family, them getting sucked back into the window. He kind of barely escapes. But even as he's running and you're already on the edge of your seat, the music kicks in. A whole horde comes over the hill. The way it's shot, it's beautiful. He's trying to get away, and there's even more nail-biting tension with him trying to get away in this boat, and they're coming up out of nowhere from under the water. I mean, it is just an absolute assault on your senses, and one of those ones that just takes your breath away, and you're literally out of breath within the first 10 minutes of that movie and waiting to see what else happens. So I think 28 Weeks Later, just for the sheer one of the most tension-riddled scenes maybe in horror history, I would contend.
Huey, what do you say about 28 Weeks Later?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could have gone for either of the openings.
The opening one with the monkeys in the lab is good too, I will say. But man, rewatching both of them, I just have to edge it up to 28 Weeks personally. Yeah.
Yeah, that one is. It is one like I don't know. It's hard to describe, but yeah, like where you feel it. You feel like those zombies are like right there chasing you. Man. Yeah, it was on my list too. So I'm gonna say yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about 28 Weeks Later?
It's on my extended list. So yeah, it's on my honorable mentions. Is like below the 5 I was hoping that was going to make the list, and yeah, it's still a little early. So yeah, I'm not as crazy about the rest of the movie. I like it enough, but the opening is really good. So yeah, I'll give a yes to 28 weeks later.
But yeah, I don't know if I've seen 28 Weeks Later in its fullest, but when I was doing research for this, like this is one of the ones that came up on a few lists that I actually watched for this, and just seeing the sort of shot at the end of his wife looking out the window is like, what the hell?
And she gets
Hell,
pulled
man. It's like,
backwards. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's just one of those chilling openings, and I think it works. I'm going to say yes, 28 Weeks Later. But John, what do you say about 28 Weeks Later?
On my list, I think Robert Carlyle just being the absolute coward of cowards in this movie is untouchable. The times we had Wife of Mine, that's fantastic. I'm gonna peace out of this boat. It's a great opening. Yes.
That 28 Weeks Later is going to make the list. Kiri, we go to you next. What is your next nomination?
Okay. I am going to go with the franchise we've already alluded to, I think. And I'm going to go with what I think is the best opening of this franchise. Definitely see where there may be disagreement, though. I think most of the openings are fantastic. I'm going to go with Final Destination 2, the log accident on the highway. If you think about it too hard, the opening doesn't completely make sense, but I think it is like one of the most realistic Final Destination openings, and like one of the more of like, what's most likely like to happen of the openings of any of these movies. Like this one, a major pile up road accident. Obviously the things that happen within that get a little bit ridiculous, like that speeding truck at the end, but I think it is just one of the more terrifying ones. I feel like it makes our entire generation not drive behind log trucks or anything similar. So I'm going Final Destination 2.
Jonathan, what do you say about Final Destination 2?
Okay, if you had brought up the first one, I would have definitely said no, because that would have been cheating. 2, however, I do think that is part of the opening. So, oh man, this is tricky. I forgot to write it down. It's very tricky. Man, we're running out of spots here. And I'm gonna bring up a big one that we haven't brought up, that it's gonna be criminal if we, if it doesn't make the list. It is a great opening. It is probably the most realistic opening when it comes to like driving on the highways and the freeways. Like you never know when a car accident is going to happen or how big of a car accident is going to happen. So, I have a few better movies on here besides that, but I would not be angry if it makes a list. So I'll just say a slight no. We'll see what happens.
Final Destination 2, I think the opening is great, and like the openings of all these are like pretty good, honestly. And there's a reason I chose the specific shot I did for the thumbnail, because it's one of those visions that like even when you're just driving on the motorway, like that, like every time you pass a log truck, that's the first thing that goes through your mind. So Final Destination 2 gets a yes from me. But John, what do you say about Final Destination 2?
Yeah, Final Destination 2 is iconic. Yeah, I mean, if we got to pick one out of that franchise, all those openings are pretty good. But yeah, Final Destination 2, I think, lives in everybody's mind rent free whenever you're driving on the road. So I can't say no to that. Yes.
And Austin, what do you say about Final Destination?
Yeah, for what Jaws did to keeping people out of the ocean, Final Destination 2 did to people passing log trucks on the highway. I'm convinced that people that even haven't seen that movie are aware of it and still don't. So I think it's had an impact on pop culture, and kind of it's still kind of the one that gets talked about, I think, the most, even though I think you can make an argument for some of the other ones being great as well. But yeah, I'll definitely say yes to Final Destination 2.
Yeah, Final Destination 2 is going to make the list. And Jonathan, we go to you next. What are you going to bring up?
Actually, Austin brought it up 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, I figured you were going to bring it up because it's probably in your 5. So I would lift it to you.
It has to be. I mean, Jaws. Look, People debate whether Jaws is a horror movie. It's a horror movie. Come on, it is a horror movie.
John can attest. It's an animal attack movie, and I can pick animal attacks
It's
on
an
my
animal
way to
attack
horror.
movie.
Animal attack movies are horror movies. It's a subgenre and it's trivia, and that counts.
Yeah, I may have one other one, but I don't think it's going to make it. But no, Jaws, it set the standard for those types of openings regarding a creature or a monster or whatever. But you know what happens? A bunch of teenagers are in a campfire. Two people are glazing. They're looking at each other, staring at each other, and then they both go swimming, or one goes swimming, and the other one is just drunkenly falling down on the beach. And she swims naked in the dark for some reason, and basically she gets caught by a shark and dies. And it's very chilling, very scary, and it is one of the most iconic openings ever. And it set the standard for Steven Spielberg as a filmmaker, and he has a lot of great openings, for years to come when it came to Jaws back then. So yeah, I'm going to nominate Jaws.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Jaws. I think it's a good movie. I'm actually not as high on the opening as you guys are. I think it's fine opening. And granted, I'd seen Jaws after I'd seen a whole bunch of other shark movies, and so there's like I get Jaws probably came first, but it's just one of those ones like a lot of the shark movies tend to open around. To me, it's going to be a slight no, but I'm not going to have any offense if it makes the list. But John, what do you say about Jaws?
Yeah, Jaws, I believe, is a movie that I just didn't say because I figured somebody was going to say it. So thanks to Jonathan for making me not eat my words. I was going to say yes to Jaws when it came up. Jaws, though nothing wrong with swimming naked in the dark. Everybody, just don't let Jonathan's opinion shame you from swimming naked in the dark. If you want to, go for it. But yeah, it's a great opening. I see.
I'll replay what you said later.
But Austin, what do you say about Jaws?
No, 100%. It's a great kind of shocking opening, and you have to remember the time period it was set in, the 70s. So it's more about tension than actually showing you kind of everything. And yeah, you're going to watch a shark movie, but you still don't see the shark, and you just see what the shark can do to somebody in the middle of the night and how terrifying the ocean is, with the unknown, everything out there. Yeah, it's a really great opening, and yeah, little Chrissy sets all the events in the movie in motion, because of her death, and we're finding pieces of her later and everything. So yeah, you have to have this opening kill, and it really, really works. And I still think it's one of the great openings ever. So, yeah, there you go. I'll say yes to Jaws.
But Kerry, what do you say about Jaws?
Yeah, this was definitely on my list. It is. It's just so iconic, and it sets the tone for the whole movie. I don't think there's much more else to say. So yeah.
That Jaws is going to make the list. It comes back around to me.
Wow. Pretty quick.
I'm going to go for this one just because there's a franchise I want to go for, but I haven't decided which movie of the franchise I want to go for yet. But I'm going to go for the opening to It Chapter 1, and it's one of those ones like Bill Skarsgård is really good at making Pennywise look terrifying, and then just this whole opening of like Georgie playing in the thing of his boat, and then going to the drain and you see his arm get taken right off, and and all that, and it's just a really creepy take on the way they did it in the mini series, and I think it really works as an opening. But John, what do you say about the opening to It Chapter 1?
I agree with you. I mean, it's just like it's a remake of something we've seen already, but they do it really well. So, and I do think Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise is it superior to? I don't want to say it's superior to Tim Curry's, but it's definitely really good. So I'm not going to rain on your parade. I will allow this to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, what do you say about it, Chapter 1?
Yeah, it's on my extended list, so I'll give it a yes. And yeah, I mean, you're opening, it's a ballsy opening because you're opening with the death of a kid and a pretty graphic one at that. And I remember sitting in the theater in a full house in IMAX in 2017 watching this movie. And yeah, I mean, we kind of know where it's going as far as because you've seen the original with the chat back and forth, but the fact that he gets his arm ripped off pretty graphically, and you see him kind of in pain, and bloody, and then that slow hand that like extends out of the sewer and eventually grabs him and pulls him in. The way it's shot, it's really beautifully with the rain and everything, and it just looks really good. And it's a great way to kind of just wrap you right in there. The Skarsgård performance is excellent, and lets you know kind of what type of Pennywise we're going to get for the rest of the movie. So yeah, it really works. I'll give it a yes.
Kerry, what do you say about it, Chapter 1?
Yeah, this was high on my list. Another one. I think, Bill Skarsgård, with just how he is able to move his eyes and he like zones out and starts drooling, and it's so incredible. It was terrifying to watch in theater. So that's a yes for me.
And Jonathan, what do you say about it, Chapter 1?
We got all 5. It is a great opening. It's a great gnarly opening that I'm also rhapsodic about. It doesn't play around with you. I mean, killing off a kid like that, it's nightmarish in itself, and it just, regardless if you're a parent or not, it's still a nightmare seeing a kid getting killed right there, especially by a clown in a sewer. But it's a beautifully well-made opening, and it really lingers on you until the end of the movie, or until the end of part 1. So 100% yes for it.
With that, Chapter 1 is going to make the list. We've got 2 spots remaining.
Already.
And we go back to John. John, what is the next one?
I know, so many.
Man, I would have wanted to do like a more like obscure one, but I think if I go too obscure, it's just going to be a no. I mean, Cube was already testing it. But since we're on the theme of just like dead children, let's bring up one where the kid's kind of already dead. I'm gonna go with Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead's opening as just like punch you in the face zombie movie opening. I think I would never. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna be like, oh, fucking Zack Snyder's the greatest. But for those like 10 minutes, Zack Snyder made a case that he's one of the greats.
Austin, what do you say about Dawn of the Dead from 2004?
John, it was one of the 2 I was probably going to bring up, so you just made my choice a lot easier. Yes, I'm a big Snyder stan anyways. Anybody who knows me knows that. I love Zack Snyder. But yeah, this opening is great. Yeah, you're getting these little bits of information if you're paying attention with her at the hospital. It also kind of seems nice and calm. Like we're going to have an extended opening of getting to know the characters, but it's like, no, this little girl's going to show up at the door when they wake up. We're going to have this kind of gnarly shower sequence. And then, she's going to stumble out and go into the neighborhood. And there goes the neighborhood because everything has gone to shit. And it's one of the great examples of like showing how the anarchy of like an apocalyptic situation can just escalate almost instantly. It has almost kind of the nail biting tension of the 28 Weeks Later thing in a different type of dynamic. All the craziness and her trying to get out of the neighborhood and the explosions and there's trucks running into gas stations. I mean, it's absolute chaos, and I think it's a great opening that really hooks you in. So it's a big yes to Dawn of the Dead.
Kerry, what do you say about Dawn of the Dead?
Yep, this one was on my list too. Dawn of the Dead, it's not my favorite, but I think that opening scene is like, that's my favorite part of the movie. I think that is maybe one of the best openings of the Dead movie. I mean, there are a lot of fantastic openings there, but it hits you really hard once it starts going. And I love just the cut to the Johnny Cash music, and I think it is incredibly well done. So I'm going yes.
And Jonathan, what do you say about Dawn of the Dead 2004?
Well, after those 5, Dawn of the Dead was actually one of my top honorable mentions. So I really love the opening. I'm not as crazy about Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, but I think out of the movies I've seen, I think probably it's his most. I think this is his best and probably his most fun. So yeah, the opening is really good. It's really well done, and I'm going to say yes, boy. And Sarah Polley was definitely in a situation before directing Women Talking years later. So yeah, Dawn of the Dead, fantastic opening.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a yes for me as well. Like, I like the opening of Dawn of the Dead. I think it's great. So yeah, it's a yes for me. Dawn of the Dead is going to make the list. We go over to Austin.
Wow, yeah, this is a tough decision because there's a couple of really good ones that still on my list, and obviously we'll get honorable mentions. But I'm going to go for one that may not jump out at you initially, but especially on rewatches, it really makes a lot of sense. It's one that sets up the world and the mystery of what's going on, and the rest of the movie is amazing as well. You're going to know the movie, but I'm going to go with John Carpenter's The Thing. And with the Thing opening sequence, which you may not think about, but man, when you really look at it on analyzing, it really does a great job of setting up the intrigue of what's going on and really laying out a mysterious situation. Because we open up with the titles, you get that great Ennio Morricone score, dum 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 boom boom, and it already is like kind of matching your heartbeat. You open up on a dog in the middle of the Arctic. There's a helicopter chasing this dog, and these guys shooting at it. And you go, why are they trying to shoot a dog from a helicopter? You have no idea why. Yeah, eventually get to the Arctic station, and the dog kind of running for cover, and then kind of eventually through a few mishaps, the guy's grenade goes off and blows up the helicopter, and it's like, what the hell is this? What's going on? Why are we in the Arctic? Who are these guys shooting at this dog? Why are they shooting at this dog? What's so scary about this? And then immediately you have questions that you want answered. And again, it's a great job of just kind of keeping you on edge and wanting to know more. And luckily, the movie is just as good as the opening scene. So in the case of that, so I'll shoot my shot for The Thing, which y'all may not have thought about initially, but I think it's pretty great.
Kerry, what do you say about The Thing?
Yeah, I did think about this one. It's on my list. There's so many openings. Like, I still have so many openings left, but I won't say no to The Thing. I agree with what you said. I think this sets it up so well. And that helicopter explosion like winds up being really cool. And it when you do a double feature of The Thing from Another World, it makes a really cool like entryway into it. So yeah, I'll say yes.
Jonathan, what do you say about The Thing?
Oh,
because I'm right, Jonathan.
It's
I'm right.
Great movie. Yeah, that opening was good. And I forgot to write it down. Oh, crap. But the thing is that all the openings I have on my honorable mentions, except for like one or two, which are great, I think they're like pretty good. They're great openings to a good movie. When was the last time that we all had like 12 straight movies that had gone through? Like, when was the last time that happened?
Rob Schneider.
For real?
Yeah, maybe.
I think even then we're like we were bouncing around for that on that last spot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's ever. I honestly don't think it's ever happened. I don't remember if it.
Come on, let's make history.
Well,
Let's make history.
Well,
yeah,
let's do it. Yeah,
12 straight.
Because it's a great opening to a great movie. The Thing is a masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, even if Jonathan had said no, I was going to say yes anyway. Because it's I've got a few others that I would have liked to bring up, but it's like by the time it gets to me, there's a chance like it was going to be like someone else would put something up that was going to like fill up that last spot anyway. So yeah, it's a yes for me for The Thing. It's a great opening, and yeah. John, what would you have said about The Thing?
Boom, boom.
Oh, like, you can't say no. I mean, if only the fact that it sets up, I mean, the far superior 2011 prequel. I mean, right? I mean, it definitely sets that up for us. Like, what's the backstory to this dog? And they just deliver a banger in 2011. So there we go. How do you say? I'm kidding. Well, yeah. The Thing is great, and the opening is great.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But The Thing is going to make the list.
12 for 12. How about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a single no. Closest one was maybe Cube. Maybe that was the closest one, but yeah, even though three, yeah. There you go.
But
Or and
Kiri, what are
Jason,
some?
that Jason one, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But Kiri, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Oh man. I had Evil Dead Rise. I think that one is just so much fun, and I think it's just clever and cool how she floats up in the air and the title comes up, and it's really cool. The Sixth Sense. That's one that, man, that's crazy. That is probably now the most terrifying scene of that movie for me as an adult, like someone breaking into your home and hiding in the bathroom. The Invisible Man has a fantastic opening that is just so tense. I love it. An American Werewolf in London, another fantastic opening, just them in the bar and then getting attacked.
Yeah.
Saw, obviously, Saw, I think, is a little bit of a shame we didn't get on this list, but I think that's a fantastic opening. I also had Zombieland, Godzilla -1, and Midsommar.
Jonathan, what honorables did you have?
Yeah, Midsommar. Yeah, actually, that is a great opening. That's one that I did not put on the list. That's a disturbing opening, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, the highest one for me was Sleepy Hollow. That was actually a very great atmospheric tone to set up the movie. It Follows. What the hell's going on in that beach? What happened in that beach? I don't know. Don't Look Now. That's another disturbing opening. If you're a parent, yeah, it just doesn't go well for them. This one I just watched. It is pretty funny. The Return of the Living Dead. Basically is like the most you're screwed opening I've ever seen. It's like, you're screwed. We're screwed. It was a lot of fun. Probably one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. The Ring. The Ring is pretty creepy. A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good opening. Get Out. The Stepfather. Yeah, I saw that one. I'm gonna move on. A few more. Talk to Me, a creepy movie, and I saw this one last night. Terrifier 3. I know it's way too soon, but and it doesn't really make sense to the rest of the movie. But that opening is really well done, and I'll just say this: there's more kids being killed off in that opening. So, but that's it for me.
But yeah, for me, you could have said in any of the Saw openings, I probably would have said yes. As weirdly enough, I probably would have struggled a little bit with the first one, just because it is like the whole movie is basically one scene. It's like, in a way, when you think about it. I mean, I would have had to, but I probably would have slightly still suggest Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's great. I would have also gone Midsommar. For me, I would have gone Evil Dead 2013 over Evil Dead Rise. Because I think that's a great opening scene. Carrie, and then another and a recent one I probably would have said is Smile 2. I think the opening of that is really and especially that final shot of like the spitted blood like forming a smile at the end of that opening scene. I think it was a really good opening. But John, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, we'll talk about Smile 2 another day. You guys mentioned a lot of things I had on my list, so I'll just go a little deeper. I would say the opening to Urban Legend with Brad Dourif as a stuttering gas station attendant and the killer in the back seat is a great opening to a slasher movie. Then we're going to go deeper. I would say the opening to Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor is freaking incredible. Then we'll go a little foreign. I'd say it's a long extended opening, but the first kind of half act of Martyrs, the original Martyrs, is also great. And then finally, Demian Rugna's Atorados from Argentina, where the guy wakes up and his wife is smashing back and forth in the shower. If you haven't seen that, he's the guy that did When Evil Lurks, and this is his movie he made before When Evil Lurks. Atorados.
What's the movie called again?
In English, it's called Terrified. Like Terrified.
Oh yeah. Terrified. I have it sitting on my Vudu. I haven't watched it yet, John. I need to get to that. But
Terrified.
but now that Now that you said it's the same guy that did When Evil Lurks, which was my favorite horror movie of last year, yeah, I definitely need to get to that.
Yeah, you can tell he hates kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of horror movies hate kids.
No, he
Yeah, a lot more
really
horror
hates.
movies than you think about hate kids. Yeah.
Terrible.
That- that's
I
my
see it.
list.
Yeah, I see it. All right. On my watch list. All right.
But Austin, what are some honorable mentions?
Yeah, most of the same ones y'all had. Nightmare on Elm Street, Ring, Midsommar, Zombieland, For Whom the Bell Tolls. I mean, come on, who doesn't love Metallica? But yeah, I mean, the only other Final Destination one, maybe Final Destination 5, because I just love the suspension bridge opening. That's so good. And the only other two I might have shielded for is I'm a Rob Zombie defender. I think both the openings of House of 1,000 Corpses and The Devil's Rejects are both really good. Because the House of 1,000 has the opening gas station robbery, and just you really get to know like Captain Spaulding and what he's all about, and it's shot pretty cool. And then the opening of Devil Rejects is like the raid on the actual Firefly house with Sheriff Wydell and the shootout that ensues there, and them escaping to the Midnight Rider by the Allman Brothers. It's just a kind of a great opening to that movie as well. So yeah, I may have shoot my shot for some Rob Zombie. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the last one I probably would have mentioned is Black Sheep as usual. But
Oh, I forgot one. The Mummy, the remake, The Mummy. I think that's a horror movie. Yeah, it's a great horror movie opening.
Yeah, I mean, it's more just like a storytelling thing. I don't know if it's necessarily a scene in general. It's more just like a storytelling recap thing. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's good. It's good.
But with that, it's time to sort of rank what we've got on the list. Just to recap what our short list we've got. Quiet Place, Friday the 13th, Dressing Goes to Hell, Halloween from 78, Scream 96, Ghost Ship, Cube, 28 weeks later, Final Destination 2, Jaws, It Chapter 1, Dawn of the Dead, and The Thing. And actually, just a side note, if the first Scream didn't make the list, I probably would have advocated for the opening to Scary Movie because I think it's a really entertaining parody of said scene. But John, what do you have at number 12?
That is a great question. Out of the 12 we listed, I hate to like crap on my own pick, but I think Cube's probably number 12, right?
Austin?
Funny you should say that, John. I'll put Cube for number 12. Even though I like it.
Yeah, I also put Q.
Jonathan?
Yeah, that's fine. I put Jason Goes to Hell.
I would have gone Cube as well.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cube is going to be a 12. But Austin, what do you have for?
I think what I'll next go with, and I might pull a John here. I'm going to go with my own pick, just because the rest of the movie doesn't quite live up to the opening, but it's still good. I'll go Jason Goes to Hell for number 11, just because it's great. But yeah, there's some other good ones on here too.
Kiri, what do you have for 11?
Yeah, I also have Jason Goes to Hell.
Jonathan?
God, why the hell did I erase it? Jason Goes to Hell.
There you go.
I probably would have been different here. I'll put Dawn of the Dead. And John.
I'll just agree with Jason Goes to Hell. Let's make it easy.
Okay.
Now for me. This gets
right.
tough.
Yeah, this is starting to get tough now because this is going to be
All right. Yeah.
All right.
But Kiri, what do you have in 10?
I'll keep with the theme and I'll go with Final Destination 2.
But Jonathan?
Yeah, it's close between two of them, but I'll go with Final Destination 2 as well.
Dawn of the Dead. John.
I was going to go with Chapter 1 here.
And
I was going to go with, because the rest of the movie really doesn't live up to the opening Ghost Ship.
But
and I think the other movies on this list actually do. So.
But Final Destination 2 is going to be at number 10. That's the one I had at number 1 person. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
But Jonathan, what do you have at 9?
Now we can say Ghost Ship.
I'm gonna go Dawn of the Dead. John.
I'll stick with it, Chapter 1.
And I'll stick with Ghost Ship.
And Kiri.
Ghost Ship.
Okay.
Okay, now it's really tough.
Now it's getting to be something. Yeah.
Thank goodness I'm last.
Okay. I think I
Sticking
know
with
what I'm
Dawn
doing
of
here.
the Dead. John.
Oh boy.
What happened? What did we pick so far?
Well,
he was sticking with
I-
Dawn of the Dead. He's sticking with
Yeah.
his own pick. Yeah.
Oh, you're sticking with
John,
Dawn of the
what-
Dead. I'm sticking with the chapter 1.
I will also go it for this one.
and Kiri,
I went with 28 weeks later.
and Jonathan.
You get to decide the tiebreaker 20 weeks later.
All right, Malcolm gets to decide.
All these
Great,
8
Malcolm.
openings are great. So
Yeah, these are all really good. So this is more just like nitpicky. Yeah, little things. Yeah, these are all great.
So 28 weeks later in it chapter 1.
In chapter 1, yeah. Malcolm likes to reveal when he types it. Keep us in suspense.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. You probably just made the decision a little easier then.
But John, what do you have at 7?
Well, I'm gonna stick with the chapter 1.
I will also stick with it.
Kiri,
Yeah, I'll go with it.
Jonathan,
Yeah, because I did not think of 2 other ones. Yeah, I'll just go with it as well.
Okay.
sticking with Dawn of the Dead.
Appropriately read.
But Austin, what do you have for
Hold on. This one,
Too quickly.
just because I like the dynamics of the other one a little bit more, I'll go with A Quiet Place on this one.
Kiri,
I said Dawn of the Dead.
Jonathan,
I'm not down with the sickness. Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead. John,
Well, it doesn't matter what I say then. I'll just say the thing then.
Austin.
I went first with A Quiet
Oh,
Place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dawn of the Dead is going to be 6.
Great top 5.
Just to recap what we've got left, we've got The Thing, we've got Jaws, Scream, Halloween, and A Quiet Place.
Yeah, I can't. No.
But Kiri, what do you have for 5?
A Quiet Place.
Jonathan,
I think this is the most agreeing panel I've ever been on. A Quiet Place.
the Jaws.
Ooh.
Well, I'm pretty sure Pez still has A Quiet Place on his board, so it doesn't matter what I say. So I'll just say I'll say the thing again.
if you notice I didn't write anything, it's because I stuck with A Quiet Place.
Oh.
So there you go. But man, yeah. Oh man, what a top 4 though we're getting into. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
2 of them
oh
are
boy.
Carpenter, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. We've had filmmakers have multiple things on lists. It is what it is.
Yep.
Dude knows how to make a horror movie, so it's fine.
I mean, he also knows how to do opening scenes.
That's right.
But
The opening of The Fog is really good too. If you want to talk about Carpenter as well.
True.
Yeah,
That's the
and
best
that
part for
opening,
me.
the opening roam through the town with the fog and then everything going crazy. It's fun stuff. Yeah.
Jonathan, what do you have for 4?
This was tough, but the reason why I put it there because I did not put it on the list initially, so I didn't think about it. The Thing.
Jaws. John.
I'm sticking with the thing.
Yeah,
Austin,
even though it's my pick, I'll go with The Thing because I think the top 3 are like the top 3, basically. And yeah, it'll just be deciding which one.
and Kiri.
I said the thing.
There you go. All right. Oh boy. Now deciding these top 3. Jesus.
And these
There
were
you go.
these are the top 3.
Oh, these are the top 3 for sure.
Yeah,
These
this
are the ones
was
I
my
had in
top
my
3
head.
on the list for me. So
And these are all 3 of these I think are game changer horror films that made an impact on pop culture. So yeah. Ay. All right.
But
I'm last, right?
sure. I can't remember who was the first one.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Jonathan, you were first last time, so that you're correct.
Okay,
Malcolm's
thank
first
you.
this time.
I'm gonna say Scream here actually out of these 3.
Yeah, out of the 3, it's a nitpicky thing. I'm gonna go Scream.
Kiri.
I went Jaws.
And Jonathan.
Scream.
Scream. Huh? Okay. So now we're voting for number one. If you haven't done this in a while, John.
Yeah.
So John, you jumped to number one. So if you haven't done this in a while, you're voting for number one.
I think out of the two of these, very close. I'm gonna go with Jaws.
Very, very close.
Austin,
And Pez is writing a
what
lot
do
of
you have
letters.
for
So
number
here
one?
Halloween.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the more like pure iconic horror movie opening. So I'm gonna go Halloween on this one.
Kerry, what do you have for number one?
Halloween.
Jonathan.
Wow. Halloween.
Halloween.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. There you go.
So I finished my independence with these.
Excellent. But all great. Great list. Really good
But
list.
to recap our top 12 list for opening scenes in horror movies, at number 12 we've got Cube. At 11 we've got Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. At 10 we've got Final Destination 2. At 9 we've got Ghost Ship. At 8 we've got 28 Weeks Later. At 7 we've got It Chapter 1. At 6 we've got Dawn of the Dead 2004. At 5 we've got A Quiet Place. At 4 we've got The Thing. At 3 we got Scream. At 2 we got Jaws. And number 1 we had Halloween. So a bunch of great horror movies there, and I should have looked this up before, but next week's episode of Rankum, I'm pretty sure is going to be movies that was nominated for SAG Ensemble. It was definitely close between that and Movie Villains. But yeah, it's going to be movies that won Best Ensemble at the SAG Awards next week, so that should be a lot of fun. But John, where can people find you online?
I'm at Why We Love Horror, which TikTok and YouTube is just at WWL Horror. It's horror reviews, horror trivia, horror everything. And my letterbox is JWMar. It's all below me. You can see it. It's all right there. There it is. That's where you find me.
Austin, we can view on you online. Yeah, mostly over at the Movie Hero Network. We have a Movie Hero Network Facebook group, which a lot of other people post their links over there as well. So you can follow that Facebook group and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. Got lots of great horror stuff going on, this past month and still for Horror Week. So we still got another horror tournament fight, and we've even got a recast of Ghostbusters. So coming up. So lots of great horror-related themes on Movie Hero Network. Check us out. Thanks.
And Kerry, we can find you online.
I am at Welcome to Primetime, where I co-host a horror show with Chad and Hunter. That's mainly it.
Jonathan, we can find you online.
First off, thanks for having all of us on this episode. This was great. Again, this was probably the most in sync panel I've ever been on. It's great, pretty brief. You can find me on the social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, different variations of Cinecaro. Instagram, I'm finishing up a tournament, basically focusing on fall-like movies, and two of the horror movies are in the tournament still in semifinals, and and then there's some shenanigans, and I'm probably gonna finish off the spooky season with some horror rewatches, whatever, on Letterboxd. And I'll be on the Movie Hero Network a few times next month on Austin's and Jordan's channel. And and that's it. That's it for me. And coming soon, Top 64. So next month.
And you can find me on Tape Productions. I rank them every week. Next week is going to be top 12 movies that won Best Ensemble at the SAG Awards. You can also find me on my own personal channel on Middle Earth Media, where I host my own show, Spear from the Past. And this week I have Jacob Cameron on to talk about WCW Uncensored from '95. And you can also find me popping up here and there and everywhere. And just remember, there is nothing wrong with swimming naked in the dark.